It has been more than a decade since Proposition 227 was passed, which banned bilingual education from the school system. The purpose of bilingual education is to teach English to English language students, or EL students, while instructing them in other core subjects in their native language, so that they won't fall behind. And although Prop 227 was passed, it appears that bilingual education is still used today. According to an article by Lance Izumi, the Senior Director of Education at Pacific Research Institute, around 8% of ELL students continue to be taught through bilingual education. The article also reveals that some teachers and administrators were still using the EL students' native language in the classroom, therefore using bilingual education. My proposition is that bilingual education is unnecessary. To prove this, I'm going to show you how the program fails to teach students English, that students stay in the program for too long, and finally, that many parents feel that bilingual education does not help their children master English. My first point is that bilingual education does not effectively teach students English. According to the ELL Subcommittee Research Studies Progress Report by the New York City Board of Education, bilingual education students spend about 120 minutes per week in English classes. So out of the 5 days a week they go to school, only 3 hours of those weeks do they actually study English. Furthermore, it is also demonstrated in the studies in the early 90s in El Paso, Texas, and in New York City that students in English immersion classes, where they spend a full year studying English intensively, outperformed bilingual language students in English and in other school subjects, and transitioned into regular classes much faster than students in bilingual classes. It's clear that there's no advantage in being in bilingual classes since they spend so little time studying the English, which is the main purpose of the program. My second claim is that students in bilingual education stay in the program for too long. The program hopes that in 3 years, students would transfer into regular classes, yet this is not always the case. In September 1995, 150 parents of children in Brooklyn public schools filed a lawsuit charging that because their children were kept in the program for more than 3 years, and in some cases 6 years, they did not receive enough instruction in English. The lawsuit also revealed that thousands of students were kept in bilingual classes for more than 6 years, without proof that they still needed to be in the program. And I personally know this is true, for in elementary, I was in bilingual classes. I finally got out in middle school, and I was moved into English honors in the 7th grade. Yet, during the 7th grade, I was still forced to take these tests to prove that my English was proficient. There's really no protocol or steps a student needs to take in order to leave the program, and as a result, many students are kept in the program for much longer than they need to be. My final point is that many parents do not want their children in bilingual education because they feel that the program does not help their children learn English effectively. Ada Jimenez, a member of the Bushra Parents Organization in Brooklyn, New York, said that my grandson was in bilingual education from kindergarten through 5th grade. He is now in 7th grade and cannot read either English or Spanish. Mr. Jimenez saw that his child was in bilingual education, yet because he was in the program, he neither became proficient in Spanish or in English and has therefore suffered academically. And this is further illustrated in an article by Rosamond Porter, the director of the Institute of Research in English Acquisition and Development. When Mexican parents were asked if they wanted the school to teach reading and writing in Spanish and English, 70% answered yes. But when they asked if they wanted Spanish to be taught in school if it meant less time for English, only 12% said yes. It is clear that these parents know that their children need to be taught English because that is the official language of the United States, and that's the language they're going to need in higher education and in the work field. In conclusion, I want to restate my proposition, which is bilingual education is unnecessary, for it does not teach students English effectively, that many students are kept in the program for too long, and that many parents see that the program does not help their children learn English effectively. Thank you.
Okay, the proposition is clearly labeled. There's good preview. Your internal signposts are very clear. I thought you did a good job supporting most of your points. Some of the information sounds a little bit dated. I think you need some more information about what California's current education concerning bilingual education, because only 8% are in it. If you've got some data about how those 8% are doing, I think that would be very useful. You've got some good examples, the family in Brooklyn, Mr. Jimenez, those are fine. The parents' needs are largely assumed to be accurate in assessing the student's abilities or needs for English instruction. That's probably a valid point, but if there were some other measures that we could use, I think that would strengthen your argument. All right, thank you.